October 13th, 1986. The morning mist curled like fingers around the sleepy town of Briar Glen, Oregon, nestled between dense pine forests and the winding curves of the Cascade foothills. Briar Glen was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone's name, where the biggest scandal of the year might be a missing pie at the county fair. Life was simple, predictable, until it wasn't. That morning, Willow Creek Elementary School buzzed with the energy of a field trip day. Children darted across the playground with brown paper lunch bags in hand, while parents snapped Polaroid photos. Bus 47, a well-worn but dependable yellow school bus, waited at the curb. Behind the wheel sat James Hewitt, a 29-year-old Vietnam veteran turned school bus driver. He was known for his punctuality, kindness, and quiet demeanor. He'd driven every field trip for the last 3 years. At 8 a.m., Mrs. Helen Langston, a beloved fourth-grade teacher with a love for folklore and ghost stories, began her roll call. 15 children answered with eager smiles, each excited for their adventure to Cascade National Park, a trip to explore waterfalls, forest trails, and wildlife. At precisely 8:13 a.m., Bus 47 rumbled to life and pulled away from the school parking lot. It never arrived at the park. When the bus failed to check in at its designated stop by 10 a.m., rangers alerted local authorities. At first, there was no panic, just concern. Maybe a flat tire, maybe engine trouble. But by noon, when no communication had come and the children hadn't arrived at their scheduled picnic site, the school initiated a full-scale emergency. Roadblocks were set up. Police, volunteers, and state troopers scoured every possible route. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Bloodhounds were brought in. Not a single tire mark, oil stain, or discarded lunch bag was found. Bus 47 and everyone on it had vanished. Media descended on Briar Glen. National headlines screamed, 15 children, 1 driver, gone without a trace. Theories flooded in. Some claimed it was a cult abduction. Others suggested a freak natural disaster, IRCA. Sinkhole, perhaps, or a freak weather event. A few conspiracy theorists tied it to military black sites nearby. But nothing added up. There were no signs of struggle, no distress signals, no bodies. Weeks passed. Search efforts dwindled. Holidays came and went. Bedrooms remained untouched, Halloween costumes still hanging in closets, Christmas presents unopened beneath trees. Willow Creek Elementary cancelled all field trips indefinitely. Eventually, the case went cold. But some locals spoke of a legend, a place deep in the forest called Hollow Turn. Old loggers whispered about a narrow road that only appeared during foggy mornings in October. They claimed it led to nowhere, or everywhere. That those who drove down it sometimes never came back. Most dismissed it as a spooky tale, but that tale was about to resurface. June 3rd, 2025. Construction crews clearing land for a new tech hub development just 40 miles from Briar Glen struck something unexpected. At first, they thought it was a rusted septic tank, but as the bulldozer continued to dig, the curved roof of a vehicle emerged. Yellow paint. Faded black numbers. 47. The excavation came to a screeching halt. Police, federal agents, and archaeological experts were brought in. What they found was astonishing. Bus 47 was buried vertically, nose first, nearly 20 feet into the earth. The surrounding soil showed no signs of collapse, compaction, or disruption. It was as if the bus had been gently placed there and time had stood still. The exterior, despite decades underground, was remarkably preserved. Moss clung to the metal, but the tires were inflated. The windows were pitch black, not from dirt, but from some kind of opaque coating. The emergency door at the rear was sealed tight. Once opened, investigators were greeted with an eerie stillness. The seats were intact, each equipped with a seatbelt that had been neatly fastened. But there were no bodies. Instead, each seat held a single personal item: a mitten, a drawing, a chewed pencil, a folded note, a toy truck. Every item matched those reported lost in 1986. Most unsettling was the chalkboard above the driver's seat. It bore one message, written in faded red crayon: "Still learning! Be back soon." DNA analysis confirmed the items belonged to the missing children. Their belongings were unaged, untouched by mold or decay. Then came the most chilling discovery: 15 Polaroid photographs. Each child sat at a desk in what appeared to be a classroom. But it wasn't any normal classroom. The walls were metallic, the windows blacked out. On the walls hung symbols, not from any known alphabet. The lighting was sterile, cold. Each photo had a timestamp: May 17th, 2025. 2 weeks before the bus was found, experts were baffled. The Polaroids were verified to be authentic 1980s film stock, aged appropriately. Yet the images they displayed included elements far beyond 1986. A strange tablet-like device, an interactive floating globe, and clothing not yet manufactured. For Afane, mystery deepened. James Hewitt's background was reinvestigated. What surfaced was bizarre. His military record was sealed. His apartment had been rented on a 99-year lease. The bank account used to pay for it drew from an offshore source that had been inactive since the early 90s. One of the investigators, Marla Chen, a former FBI profiler turned independent researcher, gained temporary access to the site. She brought her own recording equipment and stayed overnight. Around midnight, she approached the bus and something changed. The blacked-out windows flickered. Static danced across their surface before revealing short bursts of grainy video. Children, playing, laughing, reading, but not in any known language. The footage was disjointed, looping, and occasionally distorted. Every now and then a child would look straight into the camera and mouth something. The same phrase: "This is the lesson." The driver's seat flickered too. A panel beneath it popped open to reveal a sleek black device. Not a traditional black box, but something organic, embedded with veins and tiny pulsing lights. It took weeks to decode even a portion of it. Audio logs emerged. "We do math in colors now. It's easier. We don't need books. Time is the first subject. Space is the second. They're learning faster than ever. But their eyes, they're not the same. This is the classroom. This always was." The media went wild. Conspiracy forums exploded. Government agents arrived in force. 6 days later, the bus disappeared. Security footage showed it slowly begin to vibrate, light leaking from the windows, followed by a flash, and then nothing. No crater. No soil disturbance. Just clean earth, as if it had never been there. A memorial was erected in its place, granite stones engraved with the names of the 15 children and their driver. Every year since, on October 13th, people gather. Candles are lit, songs are sung. But something strange began happening. Radio towers in the region once used by loggers and rangers began picking up intermittent signals. Static bursts that slowly resolved into voices, children's voices. Roll call: Amanda, present. Billy, present. Miss Langston says tomorrow is field trip day. Mr. Hewitt says we're going to the big lesson. Then silence. Experts have tried to trace the origin. Some say it's a prank. Others believe it's a looped signal from a transmitter hidden in the Cascades. But nothing has ever been found. And sometimes, when the mist rolls in thick during early October, Drivers on Highway 99 swear they see a school bus in the distance. Yellow. Numbered 47, driving slowly, then gone. The town of Briar Glen endures. But no one forgets. Not the families, not the investigators, not the skeptics. Because somewhere out there learning continues, and class is still in session.